For my third session of South by Southwest Day 1, I decided to look at the tech industry panels as that is something I would like to venture into after graduation here, and I'm starting to look at tech companies. So I went to this session called Building a Global Peer-to-Peer Economy with Crypto. And my preparation for this was my Flipboard magazine called 2050 Flipboard. Now, I did not necessarily include crypto on that. I was more on like the design and innovation side. So I went in with a little bit of blinders here. Now, I do know a little bit about cryptocurrency. I do not have any of my own. My parents have some, my brothers have some, and my friends as well. And I thought that this would be a great informational session on how like they're going to get crypto out globally, like in the exchange between like USD or like pesos or Canadian dollars. But nonetheless, I did not find that. And I'm biting my tongue, making this video a little bit, because it was a really hard session to attend. And I say that acknowledging that and maybe nonetheless a mistake. But I tried to stick it out there, and because I thought that this would be like a great way to like grow my knowledge a little bit, but I think I was a little bit underprepared for the topics and verbiage they were about to use. So mind you, what I'm about to say is the main gist of what I gathered in those perspectives from that session. On that back end there, I probably would have done a lot better understanding the session had I known a prior knowledge. So that was a mistake on my end, and now something that I know to be prepared for more so in the future, as this kind of flopped a tiny bit to me. But here were my main takeaways. People like crypto. They are not sophisticated on the subject, just like myself. The man speaking, he wants to be investing crypto with a brand they trust instead of just giving out bank numbers. People really want a seamless system to integrate between transferring tens of thousands of dollars and having it converted. Tokenizing is when you are issued virtual like cryptocurrency online compared to your paper wallet, all terms I am now using. And they want to be able to have like token instruments, meaning like the platforms with like massive distribution to simplify people's interactions with cryptocurrency. Like simplifying crypto capital markets has not been easy today. So the man that was speaking is at PayPal. So PayPal like originally had crypto like coming out, and you have to like do it through PayPal, and now there's 100 like different ways that you can seem to do it. But for example, people are moving more toward global, hence what this session was about. So people want to simplify those cryptocurrency markets in order to have that financial gain. So for example, right now they offer like a 0% transaction fee, and they have that for over 260 countries, and it shows you how to use it. On a broader spectrum, the reason that they want to do this is to be cost effective, speed, and have centralization, with a claim to flows, as he kept saying, within this centralized program. It reduced the cost of contracting, removing like the intermediary costs, and ultimately that helps produce more capital. And one of the ways that this is done is there are pre-funded accounts that is used with like the stable coin, which is like what their coin is called. And that allows like the money between countries. So as I was saying earlier, like if you are in the United States and you send money to Mexico, normally it would have like take a minute to come through, but it goes into a pre-funded account that is then dispersed almost immediately. So it is becoming more global in that regard. They also touched on like how most of us like Europeans and Americans usually have credit cards. We all have credit cards with like a 2% cash back. But why do I need this? Like, is it really different? People are used to like paying up front, but they're wondering if they can incorporate micropayments where you're almost paying for something by the minute. Like imagine going to see a movie and whatever, you pay your $15, it used to be $15 like a movie, you get your ticket. Imagine paying for the minute of each movie. So that's like how he explained breaking down the micropayments. And most of Americans like do not have like credit cards, which I thought was a really interesting statement, because I would think that like one American would have multiple. It says that he said that from his information, he gathered that only half the U.S. population has a credit card that would give 2% back. So meaning that you would get like a better return on that, like using crypto. So for the crypto skeptics, maybe such as myself, like how do we deal with this for like regulations, and is this really going to be global? I was thinking after the session and just applying this to my own life, I can't imagine going to the gas station and pulling up to the gas station and it asking me if I want, it used to be, check, cash, card. Well, it used to be check, cash, then it was check, cash, card. Like check, cash, card, crypto? No way. Like there's no way you can pull up to an Exxon Mobil and pay cryptocurrency for gas. So globalized, I'm not sure like how that would work, and that definitely like sparked my interest coming up. And maybe generations down the line, but they're not gonna hit it with who they have now and that market. And also like cryptocurrency is expensive. So if you're going to make cryptocurrency global, you have to think about the people who are buying that. Like I can't, like I said, my parents have cryptocurrency. Like I also can't imagine them walking into the grocery store or going out to dinner and paying in cryptocurrency. So maybe that's more on like an everyday use scale, like within our industries. But I just don't see that happening. And that's just my opinion, nonetheless there. But I did learn a great deal of stuff here, and then just to kind of touch on that globalization, they were like, hey, like they took questions from the audience, like, how are we going to put this, like into banks, or are we going to like put this into the government? And he was like, there's no way that like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the stable coin is going to be a part of like the government. He's just like, it's not going to happen. Someone in the audience brought up that Brazil is trying to launch this in like Q4 of this coming year. But he's argued that most of that action would be years away, as there does not seem to have a larger scale for government within the stable coin or nonetheless cryptocurrency, mainly taking away that it's very difficult to predict how the everyday consumer is going to use it, because like if we can't get in the government and we have a hard time having under banks and even like managing your assets and having those metrics, like how are we going to do it globally nonetheless in all these industries? So although I am not extremely familiar with like cryptocurrency and how it all works, this was still beneficial for me to sit on, in the sense that it started almost making the wheels turn. And instead of just playing along and playing into it, I almost found myself in like a deviant and challenger position. I was like, like that sounds really really, really smart, but how? And when he was posed with those tougher questions, it didn't seem like he had, and maybe he can't say, but he didn't have the most solid answers. So my biggest thing I took away from this session is how I can like challenge those norms, and just because something is being revolutionized doesn't mean that it's for everyone in that aspect. I think the innovation side of it is for lack of better words, like crazy. But I don't necessarily know that I would be someone to support that. And I just found myself, like I said, more in that challenger role while listening to this panel. But nonetheless, very interesting. And I got to learn some of that verbiage, like tokenizing, the stablecoin, crypto skeptics, pre-funded accounts. So was beneficial in that sense, just to scratch the surface on global crypto. But nonetheless, main takeaway is stick to what you know, find your research for South by Southwest, and if the session is not super appealing, to maybe go find another one. But that is it here.